Hi, everybody.
Hello there.
Jerry.
And Linda.
We're the Village's Newcomers, and today we ask the question, are the villages out of control? Is the villages getting too big? Those are questions that we're going to put today to a man that I feel is as qualified as just about any civilian to answer these questions, Mr. Don Wiley. Welcome, Don.
Why, thank you, Jerry and Linda. I appreciate you having me here.
Don is a resident of the Villages, and he's got a beautiful courtyard villa. Don lives in basically the same area that we live in. And Don has several different hats, though. He not only is a resident, he has a business that he runs here, Gold Wingnut, and he's going to tell you about that. And Don is also involved in politics here, and we're going to find out the extent to which he's involved there. So without further ado, I want to introduce Mr. Don Wiley.
Hi, thank you, Jerry and Linda.
Don, you're a dog lover too. I left that out.
Yeah, I have two golden retrievers, Lily and Jessie. They keep me busy.
We love golden retrievers, and if I had a dog here, except for Gizmo, you know, our perfect dog, he's asleep on the floor. In case you're wondering why he's not here, he said he's going to sit this one out. But Gizmo is great, but a golden retriever, they all fetch. I could hit him in the head with a dog bone and he wouldn't fetch.
No.
Lily's more of a golden keeper. She'll retrieve and then she won't give it back.
Don has a business called Gold Wingnut. Now, a Gold Wing, that's a motorcycle, I know that. How does that fit into your business? Because I know you work with drones.
Well, it started out, I was known as Gold Wing Nut, which means I was crazy about motorcycles. But that didn't really fit the business, but that's what everybody knew me as. So I rephrased it a little bit, so now it's Gold and then Wingnut, which is a little play on words, I guess, for the flying portion of it.
Which I know for some dear friends of ours, they hired you to come, and you probably came 10 times and videoed various phases in the construction of their home. Do you do that for a lot of people?
Yeah, my business actually has twofold. One of them is the home construction videos and pictures that I take for our residents that are buying a home here, but they've got to go back up to Ohio or New York or wherever, and they can't watch their home being built. I'm a former construction project manager, so I got a pretty good eye for what's going on inside of a house. So I take pictures of them, and if I see something which is rare, that's wrong or maybe doesn't seem right, I let them know and they can talk to their builder. That's the work part of it. The fun part is the construction videos, which is what most people know me for. I just counted, I've done 90 construction videos since I started. I'm working on number 91 and 92 right now. But in those, I take a look at what's going on here in the villages, where they're building, what they're building, and I do lots and lots of digging and research trying to find out information, because there's so much misinformation going on around here. It's crazy when I hear some of these people, other YouTube channels, they'll spout some stuff and I'm going, well, no, that's not right. That's not what the plans show.
Okay, I know, Don, you do that on our channel. You say, what are these people talking about?
No. I watch your show religiously, and you guys do a really great job. Lots of good information. You're obviously doing your homework also.
Don, you may remember the video we did where we were laying in our driveway and the photography comes down from heaven, you know, and it's coming down and getting a picture of us laying there. Don provided that for us, and we appreciate that very much. But we love those videos you do when you fly over, when the Everglades was being constructed, and now the Sawgrass is being constructed, and those looks into this new area that's being built. They're just fantastic, and that's why we've got them here today. We go out for drives.
We do.
We were out the other night. In fact, I have a video ready to come out where we say, we need Don Wiley with us.
We did.
We didn't know where we were.
We had no idea. We were lost. Well.
All right, Don, you know we get letters just like you do, I'm sure. And the first question I'd like to ask you is, how big is the Villages population-wise?
You know, that's a hard number to really nail down. I'm hearing numbers between 135 to 140,000. Of course, this time of year now that our seasonal residents have gone back home, it's probably around 50,000. So it really drops off this time of year. But during the peak, it's definitely getting a lot bigger.
You can tell at the golf courses now, and you can tell with traffic that the seasonal people are gone. So we're seeing that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. It's actually easy to get into a restaurant now.
Right. People say that the villages, now that they're building south of 44 like gangbusters, is actually going to be as big down there as it is north of 44. And that is just hard to believe. And I'm not going to say we're worried about it, but we're concerned that the amenities down there are not going to be built to the level that they are up here. And those people will cross that Chitty Chatty Bridge and take away her stretching time and yoga time and water aerobic time and tea times away from the golf course. What do you think, Don? Are they building enough amenities and infrastructure down there to satisfy the people down there?
Oh, yeah, I would say so. I mean, one of the misconceptions that a lot of people have is how big the area is and how many homes have been built, how many homes are going to be built, and what they're seeing. Part of that is because it's much more visible than when it was when they were building here in our village. I live in Hillsborough, you live in Dunedin. You can't see all the homes. You know, same thing when you go down Morris or Buena Vista, you can't see it, whereas the main road through that area is Marsh Bend Trail and Finney Way. And you're driving a very long, curvy path through all these homes. So you see a lot more. When you start looking at real numbers, you look at the number of homes between, let's say, 466A and 44. That's a little over 14,000 homes. So when you start looking south of 44, now you're talking CDD 12 and 13. And when you look at the total when they're built out, it's almost identical. There's less than 200 homes difference. Now the amenities, they're doing different things. When you look at River Bend, it's huge. You don't have a village rec center like that anywhere else in the villages. Even the postal stations, they're 2 or 3 times the size of what we have up in the northern part of the villages. Wow, the northern part, that's north of 44. But the number, the average number per, when you start averaging it households to rec centers and that, it's very close to the same. Of course, everybody jumps on the fact that, oh, well, you know, there's only this. Well, that's all they've announced. This developer is better at keeping secrets than the NSA and the CIA. They can keep a secret like nobody's business, and that's part of my job, is to find out their little secrets and share them, and that's one of the things I enjoy doing with the digging. But yeah, you know, things like golf courses. There's some misconceptions too about the golf courses. They couldn't just throw in a championship course at the beginning; it would have gone broke. Okay. If you build it, they will come is a very poor business strategy. When you start looking at the number of homes necessary to really support a championship golf course, well, it's about 7,500 if you look at historical data going all the way up to the north end. So we weren't there. We're just now getting at that point, and the championship course is opening up. I admit there is an access problem. I mean, you start looking at Chitty Chatty Bradford, there's not any executive courses nearby. So it's a hike. We're going to see that change based on the last announcement that the Villages made in their Continuing the Dream series. They confirmed what I put out back in November, that right on the other side of the Southern Oaks Bridge, there's going to be an executive course, and they're talking about 3 more executive courses. So those are going to be much nearer when they build the Southern Oaks Bridge. So, you know, part of it's just perception. You know, the other thing is people consider, well, you know, there's only a Publix. That's not an amenity. Amenities are golf courses, recreation centers, things like that. executive courses are amenities, but championship courses are not amenities. They're a private business. So they have to be concerned about, they got to make money.
Gotcha.
And I mean, we all got here by making money. So it's not a bad thing. Profit's what things are about. I've heard some comments about greed and the developer. I don't see it, because what I see is a lot more land being set aside for natural preserve areas and that, which brings in a whole different set of amenities. The walking paths. It's just the bicycle and walking paths that they've put in. There's miles and miles. We don't have anything like that up north. So it's growing. I don't see it though as big a problem as some make it out to be.
People like to worry, and people tend to complain. And we have looked at these things, and the more time we spend here, the more we see that the villages and the family that run the villages, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, they have a plan, and it has worked really well so far. I think that they've listened to the people and what people want, and they're making the new yards down south larger in the back. I think you'll find a much larger ratio of pools to homes down there than you have up here. And I think there's a larger ratio of view homes down there than we have up here. Have you found that true?
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot more view homes. There's a lot more larger retention ponds that they allow homes on. They're actually having more amenities because they're doing more and different things. You know, they just talked recently about a telescope area over in near the Homestead Recreation Center. My next video's got a shot of where that's at. You know, new and innovative ideas on things. Not everybody's into golf. I mean, I enjoy a golf round, not as much as I'd like to. I'm too busy filming. But you know, they're offering more things, different things. Edna's a prime example. Some people say, oh, it's a cheating way to get out of building a restaurant. I thought it was innovative. You know, people get tired of Mexican food, bring in a new food truck. You don't have to overhaul the restaurant. Keeps the overhead low, keeps things going.
I love the fact that down there, you know, I've always had that kind of a urge to do the RC car or the RC boat. Mm-hmm. Airplanes, not so much. I had one of those. That was a fiasco. I'll bet you're good at that, at the airplanes. But down there you can do it. You know, there's plenty of things like that. There are archery ranges. There's an air gun range. Lots of things to do. And I think that the younger crowd that are moving down there like all these options that they're getting.
I would agree. I think it's a more active group of residents than we have, you know, where we live, and even going farther north. The population tends to get a little older, so the population's a little younger down there. It's definitely more active, that's for certain.
One topic that deserves a show of its own, and I alluded to it last week on Mailbag Monday, some of you saw that show, is the bond. And since we have Don here, he's very knowledgeable on the bond and also on the maintenance assessment. So if he doesn't mind, I would like him to just quickly describe what is the bond, about how much do they cost, what is the maintenance assessment, what's that for, etc.
The bond is the money that is used to build the streets, the sewer systems, the retention ponds, all the public areas that are not amenities. Amenities being the recreation facilities, such as the pools and postal stations, those are amenities. So that has to be paid for in some manner. Most developers, they just roll it into the cost. The villages took a little more cash flow positive, innovative method. They started having the CDDs issue bonds. They get paid for their infrastructure. They're not trying to recover it with every house. They can recover their money from building the roads and the streets and the sewers, and they can then focus their money on amenities, golf courses, recreation centers. So it works in our favor as residents. Then the bond is then divided amongst all the residents in that community development district. In our district, we have phase 1 and phase 2 bonds. We're both in phase 1. Phase 2 is Dunedin, Osceola Hills in that area. So all the residents, they look at each subdivision and they say, how many acres is it? Then they look at the total number of acreage that are covered by that bond. And they say, okay, 10% of the acreage is what that community is. So they take 10% of the bond. Then they say, okay, how many homes are in there? And if there's 100 homes, they'll take that 10% number, they'll divide it by 100, and that's what each house gets. So when you get into things like premier homes, which have much larger lots, they have more acreage, less homes, their bonds tend to be more. Whereas in patio villas, the most tightly packed, you have more homes with less acreage, their bonds tend to be less. And it's a system that works fairly well. There are complaints, obviously, no system is going to be perfect. But it does take care of providing the cost. We're going to pay it, no matter what, okay? Nobody does this for free, this is a business. So you pay it as part of your home property and your property tax, so do I. Some people decide to pay off their bond early, that's fine. That's a financial decision only the individual can answer. But the bond basically takes care of all the secondary roads. The main arteries, such as Morse and Buena Vista, Megacin, County Route 501, those are going to come out of the county impact fees. They provide the main roads, but the developer does all the sewage, the water, all those systems. Those are all included actually in our bonds. In other counties, they'd be actually in the maintenance assessment. Or excuse me, not the maintenance assessment, the impact fee. The maintenance assessment is what keeps things looking good, okay? Between the maintenance assessment and your amenity fee, those two pools of money take care of keeping the place looking great. It just depends on what part of the property it is. So the fences that you see along main roads, some of the open green space, those are all maintained through the maintenance assessment. The tunnels, the multimodal paths, all that common infrastructure that we as residents utilize is maintained by the maintenance assessment. The amenity fee then takes care of the pools and the golf courses and what have you. That maintenance assessment is called a maintenance assessment, but probably could be easily considered a tax. It's not an ad valorem tax though, so it's not based on the value of your home. It's just a determined amount that's determined through various processes. They're much more controlled than county governments and state governments, which tend to spend money on a lot of things. We have a very select, a very small definition of what we spend the money on. So we're able to keep the cost under control.
Another question that we get frequently, and I don't know why, but people tend to think that the more homes that are built, we're going to run out of water. This aquifer down there is going to run dry and we're going to run out of water. What do you think, Don?
I think people don't understand the state of Florida. That's a huge aquifer. 1,000 people a day, the statistics say, move to the state of Florida. Of those, about 25, 30 of them are new residents to the villages. Now, if you're buying a resale, 2 people left, 2 people come in, it's a net zero. So just the new homes is what you really got to look at, and they're selling about 10 homes a day. So 20, 25 people out of 1,000 a day. Where are those other 1,000 going? They're going elsewhere, okay? And they're going to communities that don't have the reclaimed dual water system that we have. So we're using a lot less groundwater from the aquifer than other communities because we have so much reclaimed water. We don't have a lot of teenagers living here, okay? We all know teenagers, they like to take the 20, 30-minute showers.
Not my guys, mine hardly took baths at all.
Ooh, no.
My son just recently moved in with me and I've watched my water bill spike, so we're having those conversations once again. But, you know, so as older citizens, we tend to be a little more cautious. We're a little more cost conscious. It's like, I'm not going to take a 20-minute shower because I know I got to pay the hot water bill. So our usage is down. Plus, right now, look how many homes are not being occupied. Okay, let's call it half. So half the homes aren't using potable water. Excuse me, potable water. My wife corrected me on that many years ago.
You say potable, I say potable.
Tomato, tomato.
Too many years on a submarine, we always called it potable water. But anyway, so, you know, we're using a very small percentage of the water by comparison to another home elsewhere, maybe in Orlando. I mean, it's probably in the order of, we're using about a third of the amount of water per household that other areas are in Florida. So we're not this huge drain. You know, you can believe all the misinformation you want. Obviously, if you read it on the internet, it's got to be true. But I don't think we have a significant water problem caused by the villages.
Are the villages too big? Are they out of control? You'll have to make your own mind up on that. And we won't know for what, 20 or 30 years, how it all comes out. Right now, we feel pretty confident and we enjoy living here. And I think Don has done an excellent job of explaining our questions to us. I want to thank Don for being here with us today. Wonderful job, Don.
Thank you, Jerry and Linda. I appreciate you having me on.
You're welcome. Thank you all for watching. Please press the subscribe button. It really helps on our channel.
Yeah, and if you liked the video, hit that like button. And there's a little bell over there. If you hit that bell, it'll notify you every single time we put out a video.
Until next time.
See you when you get here.